No, let's crash more cars.
Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold movie podcast. In today's episode, we're discussing the 1980 musical comedy movie, The Blues Brothers. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is my Gen X co-host, Mathew Stockton.
Hi, everybody.
And I wish I could say that Mathew is the Jake to my Elwood, but more honest to say that Mathew is the Chien to my Remo. And only Clef is going to get that. Representing the millennials today, we have talented musician and composer Clef Seeley.
What's up? Hey, how's it going?
It's Trouble Clef.
We also have Anthony joining us today. Hey, Anthony.
Good evening.
And representing Gen Z, we have Nicole.
Hello.
Hello, Nicole.
Also
Hello,
joining us
Mathew.
today, we are super excited to have special guest Bob Mersereau.
Hello.
For those of you that don't know him, Bob, also known as Rockin' Bob Mersereau, is a longtime Canadian arts journalist and author with deep roots in East Coast media and Canadian music. Bob was a longtime reporter for CBC radio and television, and he's the author of several celebrated books on Canadian music, including the Top 100 Canadian Albums. I have a signed copy. Thank you, Bob.
Wow.
And The History of Canadian Rock and Roll. He's appeared on major CBC programs like Morningside and Sounds Like Canada, sharing his passion and expertise in music and culture. I couldn't think of a better person to help us break down this movie. Welcome, Bob. Thanks so much
Hi.
for joining us.
Oh, looking forward to it. You've got one of my favorite movies and full of music, so it fits right in.
All right. Well, I'm going to introduce the movie and then we'll get into it. So today's movie is the 1980 musical comedy, The Blues Brothers. The Blues Brothers stars John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. The movie was written by Dan Aykroyd and it was directed by John Landis. John Landis is famously known for directing National Lampoon's Animal House before this, and John went on to do a number of great films, including An American Werewolf in London, Trading Places, and Three Amigos, which, funny enough, are all movies we've covered on this podcast. So obviously, we're big John Landis fans on this podcast. The tagline from the movie poster is, "They'll never get caught, they're on a mission from God." IMDb describes the film as Jake Blues rejoins his brother Elwood after being released from prison, but the duo has just days to reunite their old R&B band to save the Catholic home where the two were raised, outrunning the police as they tear through Chicago. And for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch The Blues Brothers and summarize the plot. And Bob, this is always entertaining. My dad watches every movie and gives us a 90-second summary. Get ready for this.
I don't mind being in jail, but I got to stay there so long. This is the lament of one of the Blues Brothers, Jake. We meet him as he is released from prison to be picked up by his brother Elwood. Almost immediately, the action starts when the brothers disagree about the car and Elwood drives the car at high speed over an open bridge just to make a point. Soon we see them in a church, where the preacher's enthusiastic delivery makes them see the light, that they should reunite their old band to make some money to pay off the debts of their old orphanage. Well, they manage to assemble the band through all kinds of adventures, and of course, lots of blues music and dancing. We see them in a car chase with, as to be expected, pile-ups. And we see them dealing with a bunch of demonstrating Nazis by launching them all into the river. And finally, they get the money to save the orphanage from closing, and they are performing their last concert in prison, starting with Jailhouse Rock. It's a fun movie and very interesting classic. So watch out for the jail guards enjoying the performance and swaying their guns to the tune of the music.
Peter, straight bars.
He really wants to be in this movie.
Not bad, eh?
I love Hank.
Man,
He loved it. He absolutely loved it. Okay, so before we get into it deeper, I just want to get a quick reaction from everybody. How did you feel about this film?
Well, I didn't mind being in jail. My new favorite line from the plot summaries.
I loved it.
Great.
Fantastic.
At the risk of upsetting our esteemed guest, I did not like this movie at all.
I'm with you,
Shocked.
Anthony. It was just kind of meh and boring and so long.
I think it was because I have I've heard such great things my whole life about this movie, and I've never really watched it in full. Maybe I had too high hopes.
I've heard good and bad things, and I still didn't enjoy it.
Well-
It was every time I thought it was over, it kept going.
It is long.
They had so many points where it was like, this is where you should end it, and then it was like, never mind, we're gonna keep going.
Get back.
Well, before we let Matthew go, because I think I know where Matthew is on this, I'm going to say, for me, I absolutely love this movie. I love all of the music. I had the soundtrack to this movie on every media there was, and wore it out. And I know I've seen this movie at least a dozen times, and I love it every time. So, yeah, I love this.
I was surprised I hadn't seen it. I was like, okay, yeah, this all makes sense. You know, it's this thing I kind of knew by association, right? It's everywhere. It's like iconic. It's like an iconic classic.
I'm interested to find out now, from my being mired in the boomer generation, I, of course, was very familiar and also more familiar with slower paced movies like this, where comedies of that time weren't, bang, 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 joke after joke after joke. And also plots were, didn't have to come at you all the time. You weren't hit over the head with it every second. So I'm interested. Is that what you found about it, that it just plodded along?
Those were parts of it.
Yeah, it was some spots it was a lot of sections that to me could have been condensed to like a third of what they were, like just general scenes of walking or just a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And to me, it didn't have it. It didn't know what it wanted to be, in a sense that there was a lot of good scenes, like the music, the performances, the cops, all the gag scenes are awesome, but there was just a lot of fluff in between that I thought if they condensed it to an hour and a half, hour 20, would have been a really good one for me.
One of my biggest complaints is I don't think it had nearly enough music to qualify as a musical. I think it was false advertising.
I'm shocked.
Because I love musicals, and this didn't feel like a musical until an hour and a half in, and then it was like, we'll sing some songs.
It's like a John through the American music anthology. It's not like a musical. It's like...
It's advertised as one.
Was it? I don't recall it being advertised at the time as, because at that point, musicals were The Sound of Music and, other such that were all set piece, then song, set piece and song.
Well, right. I'll tell you this. Bob, I call this a music-based movie, not a musical. And I draw a distinction, and I got a couple of other examples we can talk about later, but love to hear Matthew's takeaway on this.
So picture this little gay kid growing up in deep southwestern Ontario in a farming community, but I got WJLB Tiger Radio and WCHB, two black stations out of Detroit. So I grew up listening to black music in this like racist small town in southwestern Ontario in the 70s, right? And so soul and R&B and then later on sort of like early disco, right? Coming out of Motown at its height. Like, so I actually never saw this movie until last night. And I thought I was going to love it. And I think I've been struggling with this, Olen, because I'm figuring out shit about myself and how I'm trying to analyze this movie.
Finally.
It's like I've been thinking about it way too much. To me, it's sort of like, because I never saw it, I'm not coming in with the nostalgia, right? And I think Blues Brothers, I feel like it's iconic, not because it's a good movie. It's iconic because nostalgia won't let it die. And people put a lot of labels on this movie. They call it a cult classic, a comedy legend, love letter to the soul. But if you strip away the cameos and the soundtrack, I feel what you're left with is sort of this lumbering sketch that's stretched way too long.
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, like, all I wanted to do was watch like Aretha and James Brown. Like, I wanted more of them through the entire movie,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the music video era, so the way I look at it is this. I love the music. I love these performances, and these performances are raw, and Bob probably knows a lot about this, but if you do a little reading on this, a lot of these performances were just done live. Like Ray Charles said, no, I'm not lip syncing this. You just get the camera rolling and I'm playing. So
well, of course, these guys, they're gods and goddesses of this music, right? Like,
so me coming from the video era, I see these amazing live raw performances of songs that I love. Yeah. And to me, they're just linked by this ridiculous story that for me was fun. It's just to me like watching videos in the day. All the videos were ridiculous.
Okay.
Yep. So that's how I see it.
And I wonder if, because I'm familiar with the sketch nostalgia of Saturday Night Live and the Blues Brothers character and that kind of piece of it.
Yep. I can tell you about that.
I think it needs some perspective because, it's definitely
give us some.
It's definitely a movie that had a very important place historically because of what it did for music, really, which is why I'm here. In 1980, the world was going through a horrible time that we have to remember. It was called the disco era. And so I jest, but there was lots of disco music. But what had happened was those artists who now are iconic to you, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Ray Charles, and even John Lee Hooker, who's in one of the scenes, barely acknowledged. Those artists who are now all rock and roll Hall of Famers and beloved, the song Think, everybody knows it. Nobody knew it. They had died off. Their careers were in the toilet thanks to disco. They had not developed a significant audience outside the R&B soul listening audience. It was very rare for somebody in Ontario, in Southern Ontario, you had it lucky because you were close to Detroit and it crossed over. But everywhere else, my partner actually is from Chatham, Kent. So he talks about growing up in that. That's all she heard. Everywhere else in Canada, we had the Carpenters, and in a lot of America, there was no audience anymore for Aretha Franklin. She was at a low point in her career. And the Blues Brothers helped not only bring back these artists, but establish them into entire new careers and got this stuff on the radio again. So I think that has it was monumental if you were in that era. That and the fact Saturday Night Live was at its heyday. It was like Belushi and Aykroyd were heroes. That Belushi just done Animal House. So we were ready to laugh and we were really appreciative of the music. So that to me is a huge part of it. And I know it's nostalgia, but its importance weighs heavily.
Well, and that's great, right? And that perspective is important. And I think it's incredible. Like I was one of the like your partner, one of the lucky few where Aretha, they were always there for me anyway, right? Yeah. And I just find it so seeing it now with how the world's changed, it's sort of like, okay, how do I put this? And this was the struggle I had. Two white comedians are repackaging black music for suburban audience who sort of abandoned it, right? Like that's kind of what happened there. That's what I wrote before when we were talking earlier. Like it was sort of a repackaging. So I got that, but it's like okay, I'm gonna sound really cheesy here, but these are like these are sacred voices to me, right? They really are, and I just felt like the movie wasn't worth them. right? You know, it's, I don't know.
I just felt, it wasn't tokenism in any way, and it wasn't trying to, and it
Okay.
wasn't lifting, cultural appropriation.
No.
It was celebration.
It was a love letter.
Yes, and especially,
Love
you had right all the way through it. It was as black and white as can be. It was, and the musicians sure appreciated it. I know that much. So, to me, it was, it was barrier breaking.
Interesting.
To support you, Bob. So Dan Aykroyd said he's on record as saying this wasn't meant as a comedy vehicle. It was designed to pay tribute to the classic blues and R&B artists at the time when disco and arena rock dominated. So, and he was a true lover of the blues and of this music. And so, Clef, you were asking, what was the origins within SNL? Well, it started before SNL. It started with Dan Aykroyd, who ran an after-hours jam session at his Manhattan loft that he nicknamed the Blues Bar. And he invited Belushi, and Belushi got hooked after Aykroyd introduced him to the Chicago blues scene. So
okay, so these guys were like actually like interested like in music. This just wasn't just
and celebrating this music and celebrating these characters.
Okay.
And that writing these parts specifically for them, and writing themselves as these kind of despicable characters, like these, like they're sinful, they're sacrificial, and they see the light, and they're trying to pay, right? They're trying to pay, what do you call that? Pay homage. They're trying to cleanse themselves. That's the pilgrimage.
Okay.
They're on the pilgrimage.
Okay, you guys are you're helping me understand this movie a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel a little more informed now.
Yeah.
Well, it's we're not here in this podcast. We're not here to convince anybody. We just love talking about these movies.
It's like that sort of just the perspective of this and the time. I had no idea that those.
Oh my goodness.
What the hell is going on?
Clef's
Clef's
Eric's
getting
been
murdered.
assassinated.
He's being murdered right in front of us.
That's okay.
Of course, the musician doesn't know how to work a mic. Always the case.
Put him on mute.
Can we get an opinion on the movie from our special guest?
Yeah, so it's just I had no idea that the two main characters actually were kind of like truly into the music scene. So that sort of makes it makes me understand it a little bit more.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I love the music, and I love that these guys love the music. And the other thing I like about this movie too is all of the dance scenes are so energetic. And I can tell you, John Belushi, I was just reading up on this, John Belushi refused to do any choreography. He said, I'm not going to practice dancing. And he just got in, and all of that dancing is just what he felt at the moment. and in that diner scene where the two of them get up and dance along with Aretha Franklin, that was not scripted. They were just sitting there, and they're just like, I feel this. And they got up and started dancing.
Okay.
So
That's
that,
cool. I like that.
That rawness to this, that, authentic vibe, I don't know, just makes it heartwarming for me.
Yeah. What I noticed too about that is how real they made the dancers and the street people and the congregations. They all felt absolutely real to me. They did not seem like professional dancers, actors, whatever. They all seemed like, that's the church audience. That's what they really felt.
The church revival scene is so electrifying. I love that. I love that scene so much, and Aretha Franklin's Think scene. Those two scenes for me were like the best parts of the film. Yeah.
But on the topic of the dancing, one of the first notes I took was that now I understand where all of my dad's dance moves come from. Because I've seen him do all those moves.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And it was pre-MTV, right? It wasn't
Exactly.
Thriller dance, right? It wasn't very heavily scripted dance scenes. They were more, okay, well, what can you guys do? What can we get out of you non-professional dancers? So you had Aretha's singers, and those were Aretha's real singers. And you had, musicians and actors trying to dance. So it did have that feel, and I like that.
Yeah,
that's great.
And another story, and Bob, correct me if I get any of these wrong, but this is what I read, is that the Ray Charles scene, again, Ray Charles said, no, I'm not pre-recording this. We're doing this live, get the camera and go. And all of that, like the horns jumping in and the dancing and everything around that, I mean, it's almost live, right? Like
they do lots of overdubs on that stuff after, of course, and cleaned it up. But, I think the feel was, it had enough of a live feel to it.
I wrote down one word when I was watching the Ray Charles that scene. All I wrote was joy. I just felt joy watching that one.
Yeah, and I can't stress this enough that that Aretha hadn't been on TV that much, over their career. TV was still very rare for music guests. There were only
this was her first acting role.
And somebody like Aretha did not appear on Ed Sullivan, for instance, right? That was like the Supremes got to be on Ed Sullivan, but Aretha didn't. So seeing her and seeing Ray Charles do what they can do, and James Brown, that was like eye-opening for so many people, like even people that should have known,
I would love to ask about everybody's favorite scene in that. But before I do, Bob, when did you see it the first time?
As in the first run, I was working in a movie theater in Fredericton, New Brunswick called the Gaiety Theater, and I was an usher. So I probably saw it 30 sometimes. So I did watch it again here lately, but I didn't have to. It's embedded.
I'm really curious because I know all those songs and I love all those songs, but I never know the release dates of music. So I'm curious if those songs were already songs that existed or if some of them were written for the movie.
No.
Almost none of them were written for the movie. They were all songs that existed.
Yeah. Classic.
And so some of them had been around for a decade or two.
Well, Cab Calloway was Heidi Ho was from the 30s, which is such a great scene. That you want to talk about favorite scenes? That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Minnie the Moocher.
So
good.
Minnie the Moocher in that audience and to that crowd was.
And when everyone's going Heidi, Heidi, Heidi Ho,
and the fact it was a young audience learning that song.
Yeah,
right.
Brilliant. That was fun.
Yeah.
I liked when he was singing that song, and then they had the shots of the Blues Brothers creeping perfectly in sync to the music, creeping around the guards. That was a good way to use the music.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And Bob, another story I read about the Cab Calloway is that the studio tried to get Cab Calloway to update his song. He said, we need to put a little disco in it and update it a little bit. And he basically said, fuck no.
Well, I've also read it the other way. I've read it the other way. The Cab wanted to, because a lot of older performers were trying to, do that. There was a bunch of 60s and 50s R&B stars who had done disco versions that had sold way more than anything they'd sold in years. So I'd heard that Cab wanted to and had to be talked into original take on it. But yeah.
Well, I love that scene. I love that song, and I just love the touch that he says, hit it, and then he's in a white suit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's so many brilliant little bits like that
the switch up
for film I love to go back to, that are just those kind of cues and neat little, when they go from imaginary to real ideas. Yeah.
Chases.
I understand the slowness complaint of it, but I guess since I know where it's going and also, get a little tired of fast movies myself.
I mean, how many minutes of footage did they take of police cars going off of flips and going off of edge? Like, how many police cars did they go through?
Half of the shots of police cars falling and flying made them half as long, and it would have gotten the point.
That's the joke, right? That's the joke. Nobody had showed that much.
That's the joke,
did more
exactly.
car crash scenes than any other movie had ever done, which is
The
part
car
of it.
crashes were good, but the
Yeah.
scene where it's like 2 solid minutes of a car falling from the air, it's like
Yeah.
you can cut that to a minute. You don't need it
But-
to be that long.
But at the time, it was hilarious because it's like, aren't you gonna stop? Aren't you gonna stop? Right? Nobody gone that far.
And how many great concerts have I been to where the headliner does come on like half
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour later than you want them to, and it's like it does drag, and you're like, come on, get on this stage. But then they're at their show. It's this grand finale, and for some reason it's sold out, and for some reason everybody is right in their seat and chanting in unison, get on the stage.
And they're lost
you
in
know,
the
like,
basement
it's-
trying to find the stage.
Yeah.
So, what was everyone's favorite song from the movie?
Well, I have to combine it as favorite musical scene because I liked the acting that went along with it. So for me, it was the diner scene with Aretha Franklin as number 1, instrument shop with Ray Charles number 2, and I love the big show entrance when they do Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. I just love when they come catapulting in. It's awesome.
That makes sense. I hear you sing that one a lot.
But it's
Yeah, me too.
it's hard because I also love Cab Calloway. I also love there's nothing like seeing them do Rawhide, the
Yeah.
theme to
Rawhide's hilarious.
in a bar.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
the good old Blues Brother boys.
The good old boys.
Was that song that they were playing? Was that like the Batman theme, or was that like a Blues Brothers theme?
The Rawhide with the whip and that.
No,
Rawhide.
before that, they kind of come in between. Like it's in a few scenes.
Henry Mancini was.
Oh, the Peter Gunn theme is there.
Yeah, whatever that is, I love that part when they.
Okay.
Yeah,
Peter Gunn.
yeah,
That
and
is the Peter Gunn
yeah,
theme.
for me, I mean, I mentioned Minnie the Moocher, which I just love. Rawhide, just because it was such a deadpan, and I love the fact that, of course, any really great band can switch genres like that and go in, but just having them sing "Stand by Your Man," and it was
Patsy Cline, so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Do you love that song?
That was Tammy Wynette, wasn't it? Who wrote
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh, is it?
I like Stand by Your Man,
Week
but
on
I
Country.
think I really liked Aretha singing that. She's so young. She's so young in this movie as well.
Yeah, the
It's,
one that probably was, just
Very
I guess the James Brown in the church didn't do a whole lot for me, but the rest seemed, it's hard to choose because it was so fun.
It is. It is.
It is.
Clef, what was your favorite song?
I mean, I'm not really a big music fan personally. No, I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question to answer. I feel like I really like a lot of the music in the movie. My favorite scene is a comedy scene. It's with Mr. Fabulous when they're trying to get him back, and it's the scene in the restaurant, and Jake's like turning around to the other table and being like, "How much for your women? How much
Yeah,
for
that
your
was good.
children? Let me buy your children."
That,
It's like hoarding all the food.
I'm personally a huge Aretha Franklin fan, so
Oh yeah.
her song was my favorite. But is
Yeah.
it because I'm biased? Who knows? I just love her.
And if she didn't do this, maybe we wouldn't have gotten Who's Zoomin' Who, which I love that album too. It's kind of fun.
Maybe.
Okay, here's a question for Bob or for Clef.
Astounding scene, yeah.
Are these guys good singers?
John Belushi's a better singer, I think. I think they're both
I feel like
good
part of
performers.
the gag was supposed to
How
be
about
that
that?
they were bad singers.
No, it was more the fact that we assumed they would be bad singers because they were wild comedians.
Yes.
And the fact that they could do it. I remember the first time they came on Saturday Night Live, and you went, the Blues? What are they talking about? I'd never heard of a band called the Blues Brothers. Then you realized it was the two of them, it was Belushi and Aykroyd, and you went, oh, it's a joke. And then they performed, and they could do it, especially the acrobatic side of it. I mean, you're right. They were performers, not singers. But it was just they wanted it to be right. The band was great. The songs were great. The everything was great except the voices. But you could live with that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, too. Jake doesn't sing in the movie until, like, more than halfway in. He doesn't actually even sing a note until, like, halfway in. And that's when you go, oh wow, like he sort of
Yeah.
can sing, yeah.
You know who I'd love to have seen in this movie is, you're never gonna guess this all. And the musician I've seen the most times in my life is a woman named Marlena Shaw, who did a song called "Blues Ain't Nothing But a Good Woman Gone Bad," and I think that would have been such a good song in this movie.
There's so many from this genre that would have been good. Nina Simone would have been amazing.
Well, she wouldn't have done it. She was crazy.
No, no.
But the one who was supposed to be in it who wasn't was Paul Schaefer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the band leader and keyboard player, as he was in the original Blues Brothers.
Didn't need
However,
him.
he had committed to doing Gilda Radner's Broadway show. So he
Okay.
yeah, which was unfortunate because I think that, Schaefer
He
would have been loved playing, being,
Missed
giving all
opportunity.
the lines that Paul Schaefer can do and being a hipster, He would have been a completely different from Mr. Fabulous. But
Yeah, he would have been great, but frankly, you can't let down Gilda Radner either,
no,
though.
exactly.
Right?
But just look at all the cameos in this movie. I think they're brilliant. Carrie Fisher playing a psychotic ex.
Amazing.
Firing
That was
I love that.
rocket launcher.
Yeah, a few of my favorite scenes were just watching her operate extreme weaponry with like beautiful long pink nails and like painting her nails hot pink while learning how to use a flamethrower.
Yeah. And of course, this is Princess Leia, right? That's everybody just gone nuts for her in that movie. So
Right.
And speaking of cameos, John Candy showing us what real humor is.
yeah.
I mean,
And my favorite moment in the film
Yeah.
is John Candy at the show sitting down and going to the other troopers, orange whip, orange whip, orange whip. Totally ad-libbed. That's something I do whenever I go through a drive-through with my kids. I turn around and go, orange whip, and they get it immediately.
That's hilarious.
That's so fun.
I mean, John Candy's line, I just love when he's calling into the station and saying, "What car number are we?" "Oh, okay, we're in a truck." That's such a good line.
That was a good line.
Totally unknown at the time, too. Candy.
Before we're off the
Really?
topic of are they good singers, I just wanted to note for everybody that Briefcase Full of Blues, so they recorded an album before this movie came out and it went 4 times platinum. It was hugely successful. Right, Bo?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, number one album.
So when I asked, are they good singers? I guess it doesn't matter because they were very well accepted. But by the way, for you guys,
They were successful.
Less than 2 years ago, I saw all of these Blues Brothers songs live, sung by Jim Belushi, and I can tell you that he is not a good singer. Sorry, Jim.
Dan Aykroyd is nothing if not loyal to his friends.
Absolutely.
Jim Belushi needs the gig.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've panned Jim Belushi in a previous episode.
We love to pan Jim Belushi.
Except for Will, he loves him.
Okay, I got another question for you guys. So I'm drawing a distinction between music-based movies and musical, and I'm calling this a music-based movie. Do you think this is the best music-based movie that there was? And I'm just going to throw out a few other titles that I think fit the genre. 8 Mile, Saturday Night Fever, Purple Rain, Spinal Tap, Walk the Line, School of Rock. I think.
This has got nothing on most of those to me.
Yep.
Across the universe.
Well, for me, it's the best. There's some good
More
titles
than
in there,
Purple
though.
Rain.
I can't wait to do Purple Rain. I love Purple Rain. Bob, are you a Purple Rain fan?
Album, yes. The movie I thought
yeah.
was, I don't know. I got my problems with that.
Problematic. It's got some problematic parts.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Dancer in the Dark with Bjork and Catherine Deneuve?
No.
Do you know the answer to that, Matthew?
Okay. So it's maybe a musical based movie. Maybe it's a musical, like when Bjork goes into like this fantasy world when she's trying to escape something, people sing and dance. But I'm going to recommend it, and you are going to weep at the end. And I want you to call me and tell me if you haven't, because then I'll say you have no heart.
Okay.
I'll take that bet, except then I have to watch it, right?
And it's such a weird movie. It's Bjork and Catherine Deneuve. It's like, oh my God.
Which one wears the swan in that?
I had a T-shirt once that said Bjork Swan Dress. That's all the T-shirt said.
That's pretty cool.
I wrote a review once that was one line for a Bjork album, and I wrote, "What a BJERK Bjork."
Bjork.
I've seen people crochet that swan dress, and sometimes I feel like I want to do that, but then I think it's not worth the hours of work for the one joke.
Well,
Just get the T-shirt.
One question, Olen,
Yeah.
I had for Bob. I noticed in the beginning of this movie that kind of, when he goes out of the police station, that is a reference that Austin Powers picks up on in the future. Are there any other scenes, like musically, in this movie that they inspire later on in other movies? Do you guys know of any of those?
I'd have to fine tooth comb it again, but
I mean, one thing I'll say is that this movie is trope setting. Like I can't think of a movie like it, you know, in the sense that I feel like lots of things these days are sort of full of tropes that they're like playing off of stuff. And this movie, I don't know, it was like it's all tropes, I guess. But
yeah,
it's
is it,
like
or did it
its own way.
create them?
Well, this movie had one of my all-time favorite movie tropes, gags that they do in a movie, where there's an intense chase scene that's interrupted by like a solid minute of silent elevator rides with elevator music.
yeah.
It always gets me.
Those kind of comedy devices are so good.
Yeah, casual dialogue too, where they're driving through the mall and Belushi goes, "Oh, disco pants and haircuts." You know, it's just like
That mall scene was one of my favorites, partly because I just think it would have been so fun to be on the set when they were filming that. To be
Unless they had
one
to
of
clean
those
it up.
actors, it would have been so fun.
Also, Nicole, you mentioned the subtle humor. I love the scene in the sauna where you see the four of them talking.
Yes,
And then at the last second, they zoom out and the whole band is in the sauna with them.
I love that. I loved because I was already writing my note like it's so funny that they're wearing those hats and glasses in the sauna, and then right as I was writing that, it zoomed out and you could see the whole band, and that was really funny.
or when they go to visit the Penguin and she says, "Take a seat," and the only seats are those old school desks for little kids. And she said, move closer, and they scoot instead of getting out and push, they scoot up the desk. Yeah, I
forgot that I forgot that. It cracked me up because it's sort of like it's what a kid would have done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they just immediately revert back to grade 4. Yeah.
My husband was watching this with me. He went to Catholic school, and he literally said, when she was hitting them, he was like, "Yeah, that tracks." And he turns to me. This is his favorite line. His favorite line to me is, "Never turn your back on a nun."
I really love that scene where it's just an endless cycle of them swearing and then getting hit and then swearing because they're getting hit. That was funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going on to favorite parts of this movie. I have a long list, but one thing is leaving Wrigley Field as your address for your driver's license. I think that's very smart.
Solid.
I say horns in a band, like having a horn section in a band.
Dude, you're speaking my language.
More bands need horn sections.
It's very much based on
10-piece bands
on the Stax Volt from the 60s, the Sam and Dave and Otis Redding bands, and that which was basically Booker T and the MGs with the MG horn section. So they would have 2 on the road anyway, but it's very much based on that, which was because that's who did Soul Man, which was Sam and Dave, which was their big hit from the Blues Brothers album and that. So it was very natural for them to have that combination, and it was half the Saturday Night Live band too, right? So those were all the Saturday Night Live guys.
Speaking of Sam and Dave, I had on my best parts, I had wearing a suit, which I love, and that was influenced by Sam and Dave, they claim.
Yep.
Classy. Anything else you guys want to hit on best parts before we move on?
Just the church revival scene, just the dancing I loved. The think scene I loved. And I think obviously the best part of the movie is the soundtrack all the way through.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Aykroyd wrote it, right? And he'd never written a script before, a screenplay, and he didn't know what he was doing. And he basically wrote tons and tons and tons and tons and tons,
tracks.
and threw it at them and said, "Do something with it."
Yeah.
So
this movie's one long
and
sketch.
and that
one
was
big,
just how do we get
sketch.
from here to here, and it came in. I think I read that it was like 2.5 hours, and they trimmed it from that down. And there were so many. I watched the outtakes, and the outtakes are like all transition things that were easy to be edited out. But so you had that going on. It was probably the most coked up movie set that they were they like you could have walked through there and done an intervention an hour with the cast and crew. It's just amazing it got done. But it was
It explains so much in this movie.
Yeah, actually, out of everything that everyone said today, that explains the movie more than anything else to me.
Yeah.
It really does. Speaking of favorite parts, Clef, have you ever performed behind chicken wire?
I you know what? I have performed behind chicken wire.
Yeah,
So cool.
Yeah, at the Cold
But
Ball.
that's down in Florida. You could go to places that have chicken wire as well. Like if you go down to the Florida Keys, some of the little bars have
it
like
does
chicken
happen.
wire.
No one's ever thrown a bottle at me though before.
I was just gonna say, come perform here.
Yeah, just you go and yell orange whip.
Okay, let's transition.
Yep.
Worst parts,
right.
anything you want to call out, and I don't mind going first. I'm going to call out the patrons of Bob's Country Bunker as the worst part. Who hates the song "Gimme Some Lovin'"? Right?
Redneck country bar
did like-
people.
Not a fan.
I think they were just having a good time. They threw bottles even when they were having a great time.
That's
So
true.
They're an energetic crowd.
they were throwing them when they were tired out and just loving the song.
Okay. Anything in particular you guys want to shout out for worst parts?
Calling your car the Bluesmobile.
Oh, come.
I love it.
You have to but everyone. I hadn't even seen the movie, and I knew the Bluesmobile. I had a friend that called his car the Bluesmobile.
I'm proud to say I don't have any friends that have ever said that.
Watching this, I have to thank
Your friends don't drive.
I have
Yeah,
to
they
thank
do.
Bob. I have to thank Bob for this. Like, one of my worst parts was the endless car chases because I was like, it's indulgent. But you actually made me cast my mind back, Bob, to like the time and what movies were like then, right? And you're right. Had I watched this at the time, I probably would have found that absolutely hilarious.
And it
But
was,
just sort of-
I can remember just staring at it going, how did, where did they get the money and permission to destroy all the cars?
I mean, the budget when Carrie Fisher blows up the first building, that was a pretty good blow up scene.
Pretty good
I was like,
blow-up.
wow, like blow up scenes can be so bad, and I'm like, that was a good blow up scene for this movie.
Yeah, and then she comes back, and the second one's pretty good too.
Well, I can't wait to get to the budget section. Before we do that, we got to hit a few favorite lines, and I know we've been shouting some out. Anybody want to quote the line from the movie?
Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.
Are they a more aggressive sect, Matthew?
No, because it's just like and it's so relevant to today. It's so relevant to today, right? It's just the absurdity of fascism reduced to a punchline. I love that line so much. We're on a mission from God is like the best line.
I was going to ask if that was what you were searching for.
Nope. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say this on family trips, but it's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, a half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. To me, that's the line from this movie.
See,
We know what Bob's is.
Yeah, orange whip.
I like it. Nice and simple.
Yeah.
Bob, do you mind if I borrow that from you
please
and
do.
start using it as well? Okay.
Yeah. See who gets it. That's the fun of something like that. Sitting in a bar and go, orange whip. Yeah.
I like doing that in public with movie quotes. See, like, which of these people am I gonna want to talk to? No, my favorite line was, no matter who you are and what you do to live, thrive, and survive, there's still some things that make us all the same. Because it was shockingly deep for a ridiculous movie.
And see, that's what I wanted out of this movie. Like, I wanted more of the story of black music and culture coming out of all the bullshit from those Nazis, right? If the Nazis sounded like the extra thing, but it's a comedy, so maybe that was asking too much.
Matthew, I really, really, really believe what I'm going to say here. I think if you watch it a second time, I think you will enjoy it more now that we've talked about it. You know, this is a funny thing on this podcast is we do a lot of movies that I'm very unsure about, and then I get guys like Mathew and Clef on that talk it through at a bit of a deeper level, and I go like, yeah, actually that was a very good movie, and they push me that direction. I'm hoping we can push you on this one,
but
Matthew.
it's like getting different people's perspective. That's why I love doing the show, right? Getting different perspectives on it makes you. It's like you have to be open to looking at something another way. Like, Olen, what you do for me is sometimes I'm like, stop being so intellectual about it, Mathew. Just look at this stupid humor that Olen likes.
Yeah, Remo Williams is a great movie.
Remo Williams is not a great movie.
Nope.
Okay.
Clef, how dare you?
Yeah.
So Clef, in favorite lines, I've got one you need to keep handy in case you ever need it.
We're putting the band back together.
Are you the police? No, ma'am, we're musicians.
That was my favorite.
Yes.
I've used that one before. It works.
Yeah. And putting the band back together became a trope, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. That's the first
Okay.
that's the first usage of that I know of.
Lots of great stuff here, but I think maybe we should talk about how this movie did. Are you guys ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Blues Brothers was the 10th highest earning movie at the box office in 1980. The Empire Strikes Back was the leader at the box office in this year, and the Blues Brothers was also beat by two movies we've done on this podcast before, 9 to 5 and Airplane. The Blues Brothers did well, though, and handily beat other musical movies this year, including The Jazz Singer, Fame, and, Mathew, it beat Xanadu as well.
Good.
No.
And it actually kind of made me think the only thing that could make Blues Brothers better would be a roller skating scene.
There was space.
Oh, poor Olivia Newton-John.
Anyhow, I got trivia for you that involves her. Anyhow, it was obviously a strong few years for music-based movies because we also had Quadrophenia, Pink Floyd, The Wall, Staying Alive, Flashdance, Footloose, Purple Rain, all within a couple of years. So it was really kind of a musical kind of era.
Top Gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bob Kramer versus Kramer was the Oscar winner this year. And Bob and I just had a discussion about that movie because he was an usher at the Gaiety Theater when movie was in its first run. That movie was my first full frontal nudity movie. Awesome.
That was a good film.
Yeah.
How did we let you in? That's my question. How did we let you into the theater if you saw it at the Gaiety?
I knew one of the ushers there. Thanks, Bob.
Not me. Wasn't me, damn it. We were always on guard for you under 18s.
All those perverts.
You get a flashlight in the back of the head in those days, buddy.
Wow.
That explains a lot about you.
It does. It does. Okay, let's do by the numbers. I'm going to give you guys the budget. $27 million was the budget for this movie. What do you guys think it did at the box office?
What
Oh, I don't.
was it big? I want to say they doubled that. So whatever 27 doubled is.
I want to say they didn't make that. I feel like they couldn't have made that. I'm going to say
Is
20
this
million.
just in the States, or is it?
This is worldwide, and that's
Worldwide.
important because I've got some facts about
Their budget was $27 million.
That was way over. It was originally 12, I think.
I'll
Wow.
say
Cops
50.
accounted for half of it.
50. Nicole says 50.
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
kept
say
putting cop cars on
65.
cocaine.
I looked it up, so I can't.
Okay. All you guys are way off. It was $115 million. It made a lot of money. But
Wow.
Half of
more
that.
interestingly,
Yeah.
More interestingly was the budget itself. At $27 million, it was one of the most expensive films ever made. So to put it in perspective, Star Wars...
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
It was the cocaine that put it over budget.
It was.
It was.
They definitely say that cocaine was a big part of the budget. But I just want to put it in perspective for you guys. Star Wars was $11 million budget. The Empire Strikes Back was $18 million budget. This was $27.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, car crashes and coke.
And then, Nicole, you asked a very good question. Is this U.S. or worldwide? So the film was initially a flop in the U.S., but it got traction overseas. And you know why it was a flop in the U.S. initially?
Why?
All the movie theaters in the South would not show it because it had too many black characters in the movie.
Those
Wow.
bastards.
So there you go. That's exactly that.
I kind of spoiled the Woker joke, but I was shocked when I read that because it's 1980. Like,
Yeah. That makes
Olen, it's
sense.
2025 now. They probably do the same thing.
I would love an itemized breakdown of that budget, that how much they spent on cop cars, how much on the mall scene, how much on the coke.
But they must have spent a lot of money on music rights.
Probably, and I have
like-
to say now that I know it was a $27 million budget and Star Wars is $11 million, those explosion scenes could have been a little bit better.
well, we know a lot of this went to cocaine.
I just don't even know what to say about how the funds were used.
Okay.
No, I think it just was overshooting and overshooting, because you had two stars that, one star that was, out of his gourd, which was Belushi, who basically John Landis had worked with him in Animal House, and he knew that he was the bankable one, and he had to indulge him. And you had a manic screenwriter co-star who was going, "No, we need to do this, and it has to be this way." So, there was a lot of that going on, and a lot of, no, let's crash more cars. And
I think that might be my cold open for this episode.
I do want to point out that this did have a darker side to it, because it gave us the endless stream of Saturday Night Live based movies.
Oh, this was the first one. This was the first full length
where they took a skit. I mean, and the crimes against cinema are many. The cone heads.
Oh my God!
Was there a good feature film that was the Saturday Night Live skit originally?
Depends on if you like Wayne's World or not.
Okay, was that Saturday Night Live as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, there's tons of them.
Yeah, I guess we never got a Lonely Island movie.
I would watch that. Actually, wait, we did.
Did we?
Not exactly Lonely Island, but Andy Samberg, there's a movie about all the silly songs that he makes.
Oh,
I think it might be the full Lonely Island one. It's called Pop Star. It's
I think
Pop
that
Star
counts.
Never Stop Popping. My favorite song from it is "I'm Not Gay, but If I Was."
I remember.
Oh my
that
God!
song.
It's great.
Olen, your dad says that to me all the time.
My dad says to me, if I was gay, I could do way better than Mathew. I could get David Hasselhoff.
So Bob,
That's true.
Olen has this fascination with Hasselhoff.
By the way, guys, you sent me down a rabbit hole. I just brought up SNL movies, and Mathew, you asked if there was ever a good one. Coneheads, Superstar, Night at the Roxbury, It's Pat. Oh my God, there's some train wrecks there. So thank God for the Blues Brothers.
Ladies Man, MacGruber.
MacGruber, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about MacGruber.
Good.
Crimes Against
Lucky
Humanity.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no.
Bob, next we're going to my favorite section of this podcast, which is the Rotten Tomatoes game, where I ask the people on the podcast to guess what they think critics gave it on Rotten Tomatoes and what they think audience gave it on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm sure you know Rotten Tomatoes, but the way that it works is it's just a yes or a no, right? So it's how many people said this is good enough to watch. People aren't ranking it like a 9 out of 10 or 5 out of 10. They're just saying it's good enough to watch or it's not, and they tally those up. So, gang, out of 100, what do you think critics gave it, and what do you think audience gave it? And I think this is going to blow everyone's mind.
Well, critics hate comedies generally.
Okay, so what would you bet?
I'd
What
say,
percentage of critics said watch this movie?
yeah, I'd say 40 on critics and 60 on people.
Okay, who else wants to take a shot?
I'm gonna say 35 for the critics and 70 for audience.
I'm feeling like the critics liked the movie more than that. Like, my feeling would be that the critics were like 75, and I would say that the audience maybe was like 80 or 82 even. Like I didn't realize it made $115 million at the box office.
Yep.
So let's go with that.
Matthew?
I want Nicole to go first.
Okay, you're
No,
gonna
I
prices
want
right.
Matthew
You're gonna
to
get
go
prices
first.
righted.
Okay.
I've seen the audience score. I haven't seen the critic score though, so I'll only be able to guess critics.
So
Let's let Matthew go then.
So I'm thinking, like, you know, so Bob and Olen helped me a little bit with this in terms of the perspective of the times, because even though I was alive then, I didn't watch it then. And everyone, like, I grew up with people going on about this movie all the time. So as I'm not going to do my rating, I'm going to do what I think people would have done.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Even though it's a comedy, I think because of the type of story it is, and the fact that they had all these great artists in it, that critics would have gone a little bit higher than they would have without sort of Aretha Franklin and these two actors. So I'm going to say like 71 critics. And I think audiences, it's just listening to you guys, like, even though, you know, I don't think it's a great movie, I bet you it's like 89 audience.
I'm gonna guess 60 for critics.
So Matthew, you think critics liked it? You think 71% of critics said get out and watch this movie? That's what you're telling me?
Well, maybe a little bit lower.
Okay. Well, you can't change your answer.
Okay.
So the answer is 71% of critics said get out and see this movie, and 92% of audience.
Oh.
So 92%. So I thought Clef was going to have a banner day with a 14. Anthony and Bob were way off. Matthew, you got a 3, so you just kicked Clef's ass at the last minute.
I'm good at reading these things because I'm
71.
because I'm a marketer and I do lots of market research. I can try to figure out people's heads, right?
Yeah, well, I can do some market research too.
I love this movie, but I was surprised as well. 92% seems very high for our audience.
You
It's
had
one of the highest we've ever done.
Did you?
That's crazy.
You had me stressed out that I put the critics too high. I was about to change it. You were trying to get me to have a lower score.
Well,
Sabotage!
given all the text messages I got from you since you watched this movie, I was assuming you would think that people hated this. But
Well, no, it just one thing I've also learned. It's sort of like since social. Okay, and I don't mean it in a snobby way, but it's so true. I thought I was like average intelligence until social media. and thank God for social media. It makes me feel like a genius.
well, if it makes you feel better, we think you're average intelligence.
Thank you. Well, it's because I'm with the circle of people that I get along with, right?
Okay,
I'm
well,
happy to be average intelligence with my group of friends.
It's not what you said on the Remo Williams episode.
I still can't believe you guys are like best friends. It's so weird.
Well,
I don't know,
believe
they-
it.
like-
Believe it. He's my gay best friend.
GBF.
Your only gay friend.
Wow. You only need one.
Tokenism.
There's no room for a second gay best friend in my life.
You're one of 2 gay people that he knows.
When
and
I-
the other one, the other one's me.
Is his daughter. Yeah, no,
And-
if you're friends with me, there's no room for another gay in your life.
Which
You're
one of
the
you is
only
the
gay
Jake
for
and which
me.
one's the Elwood?
No, it's the Chiyun and the Remo, Clef. Okay,
I think we know which one the Jake is.
I want to get to some trivia because I got some facts that I think will interest you guys. So, first of all, Dan Aykroyd's first draft of the script was 324 pages. So, to put it in perspective, that would be 5.5 hours of film.
Lord of the Rings.
It's well known that a sizable part of the budget went to cocaine, and I find this really interesting. They tell stories that John Belushi kept disappearing during the filming, and that one night he disappeared, and everybody went out to start looking for him, and they started knocking on doors, and they got to one door, and the homeowner said, like, yeah, he's here. He came in, made a sandwich, and passed out on my couch. Bob, you mentioned it, that this set the record for wrecked cars at 103. It was beat 2 years later by a movie called The Junkman that did 150. And if you're curious, the current record is held by Transformers Dark of the Moon, which destroyed a staggering 532 cars.
But it was all CGI.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was real?
That doesn't count. If you're
Nah.
going
I
to count,
didn't say-
Olen, if you're going to count cars, you have to count real cars.
They crushed real cars in that movie. That movie was mostly CGI, but there was apparently, what do I know? It's IMDb. Maybe it's all made up. So John Belushi actually did most of his stunts on this, and the scene when he went down the stairs in that desk, he wrecked his back, and he had to wear a back brace and was on painkillers the rest of the film because of that.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
And then Mathew, I have this one for you. Olivia Newton-John was considered for the role of Mystery Woman.
Okay.
Instead of Carrie Fisher.
Carrie
That would've been
Fisher's. Yeah.
And small detail, if you're watching, Joe Walsh is actually in this movie. Speaking of cameos, he is the first guy to jump up on the picnic table in the jailhouse rock scene at the end.
Yeah, there's a few good cameos. Chaka Khan is in it.
Oh,
What was she in it? Where
I
was
didn't even
Chaka
notice
Khan?
her.
She's in the church. She's singing with Ray. Or with
I'll have to
James
go back
Brown.
and look.
Okay.
I have to say again, I love all of the dancing in this movie. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Frank Oz. Frank Oz is in it from the Muppets.
Oh.
Yeah. And a little more famous. I looked this up, but they're playing with, I think, with James Brown, Big Walter Horton, and Pine Top Perkins, who are like blues legends. You know, just, well, sure, come along. All the musicians, of course, were famous. So,
Is it true that Steven Spielberg is in it?
yeah, Spielberg's in it. What does he play? Forget where, but yeah. I think he's like a clerk or something.
Okay.
We'll look at him.
Also, off topic, but I have to say Donald Duck Dunn is the best musician name I've ever heard.
Yes, and from then on in, every bass player's nickname was Duck.
I like Matt Guitar Murphy because it's not even really a nickname. They're just telling you what instrument he plays.
Oh, and
That's true.
And
Listen, if you play guitar and your nickname is Guitar, that's pretty cool.
That's big. Oh yeah, Pee
pretty
Wee
good.
Herman's in it.
Yeah, I thought I saw him.
and
that's
Paul Rubens.
and Twiggy's in it as well.
Twiggy's in it. Steve Lawrence plays the booking agent. Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, Clef, I'm going to call you Clef Hurdy-Gurdy from now on.
Stick too.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Okay.
Sorry, Bob. We can be very immature on this show sometimes.
I have to move on. So I'm going to go to the reviews, and I want to tell you guys that however you felt about this movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you. So for this movie, there were 217 10-star reviews out of 515 total reviews. And amongst the 217, there were a lot of people calling it the best musical of all time, and some that even say it's the best movie of all times.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you just a couple of these. MC Stack says a musical comedy action fantasy should not work, but this one does. Two of the best car chases in cinematic history bookend this film, and in between there's show-stopping musical numbers, raw humor, Illinois Nazis, and a seriously disgruntled ex-fiancée. All this makes perfect sense in the context of the universe created by Aykroyd, Landis, and Belushi. Another one says, best film ever made. I'm currently cured of all sadness. R.I.P. John Belushi. Another reviewer says it is a great musical for people who don't like musicals. And I would agree. I would. Anthony, you're not a musical guy. What would you say? No. Okay.
No.
Wrong. Okay.
Well,
Fair enough. So let's hear from people who liked it less. So for this movie, there were only 7 people who rated it 1 star compared to the 217 10-star reviews. So somebody named Wee Peak says, I think people have been brainwashed about this movie, like Elaine from Seinfeld being the only one prepared to say The English Patient is crap. Well, Blues Brothers is crap too.
Interesting.
A stickler for realism, one reviewer tells us that everyone in the world knows there's no taxes on religious institutions. Who made up this stupid story?
You know what? That's a good point. The whole plot is...
I actually thought about that the whole time. Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
And then a reviewer called Tex Ass with 2 S's. I've heard people talk about John Belushi as if he's some kind of Hollywood legend. I discovered his little brother Jim first, who I personally think is the more talented and better looking brother, especially after seeing this movie.
Ooh.
I don't disagree.
Wow. Anthony, how dare you?
Jim, or I don't know which one's which. The one that's still alive, I think he's kind of funny.
Okay,
He had a good sitcom.
we'll get you on the K9 episode then.
I call them both Jim.
The saddest thing about John Belushi dying is that his brother made more movies.
Oh, I'm telling you guys, I saw him live performing the songs from this movie, and it was horrific. It was horrific. I did stay and watch, though, because I could not look away.
Sounds about right.
Again,
Like a car
sorry, Jim.
crash.
Again, sorry, Jim. Come on our K9 episode. Why don't we just go to the professionals then? Siskel and Ebert. So, Matthew, do you think Siskel and Ebert liked this movie?
And one of them did and one of them didn't.
I agree.
Okay.
It's always that.
That was their
If I
shtick.
keep-
That was their shtick.
If I keep betting it, then eventually I'm going to be right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what they thought of it. So Siskel, he called it a wonderful mix of music, action, and comedy. He said it was one of the best movies of 1980, and he said he had a great time from beginning to end. He called it
Okay.
the best movie ever made in Chicago.
Wow.
They're from Chicago, right?
Yeah,
Those two.
yeah.
There they are.
The Herald and the Tribune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ebert loved it too. He said it didn't make his top 10 list because he found it a little bit overblown. He referred to it as the Sherman tank of musicals, but they both gave it thumbs up. So 2
Okay.
thumbs up.
A rare 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that rare because every time I bet that they're going to have opposite opinions, they always both love it.
So, does this movie deserve a remake or sequel? And I think we know that it has a sequel, Blues Brothers 2000. Bob,
Yes.
what is your opinion on Blues Brothers 2000?
Yeah. Don't go there. Ever.
It's horrible. Rotten Tomatoes score on it was a 46 critics and a 37 audience.
I'm shocked that it was
it's
that
not good.
high. Yeah.
But
Okay.
do you guys want to see? I guess you have to have liked it to want to see more from these characters. But would you guys want to see any more on this theme?
No, but I'd be interested in a remake. Or like
I
a
wouldn't.
a modernized version.
No. I think
'Kay.
it's
Who would be in it then?
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
Jim Belushi.
How about John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell?
Oh, I would watch that.
Now we're
That
talking.
movie's been made.
Yeah.
That's Step Brothers. Describing Step Brothers.
And I would watch it. I would watch the Step Brothers cover of Blues Brothers.
They should
You
remake Step Brothers as a musical with them in suits.
I would watch that.
I would watch the shit out of that movie. I totally would.
I think you can't grab. I think that it was a movie that could only be made in 79, 80, and because of everything it was able to do at that time with the music, and a big part of it was the culture that they were selling it to. They were able to do so many things that tapped into everything that we found funny and everything that we wanted to know. It was just perfect for me at 19. It was everything I wanted. It was the right type of humor. The music was fantastic to hear. There was no crap in it, which was so common at that time that even if you had a couple of songs, the rest would be garbage. We were used to that. Or a good TV show, you'd get 10 minutes of something you enjoyed, and you had to sit through, it was like the Halloween special that had Kiss on it. You'd watch all the bad actors of 1976 just to get to, Kiss coming on and doing their 2 songs. So,
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob, but let me just challenge it for 1 second. Do you think you could do this again with a different genre of music?
I mean, what? The Techno Brothers?
Well, Xanadu did this for disco. And I know Xanadu maybe not be on the same level as this, although I love Xanadu myself.
Xanadu didn't do this for disco.
I think it hurt disco.
Yeah, yes. No, it didn't. What Bob was saying about how it reintroduced, I didn't realize they needed reintroduction, but and you're actually, I was thinking about it, you're right. Xanadu, yeah, Bob, you're right. It hurt disco, hurt Olivia Newton-John. Yeah, I'd like to see some, yeah, like imagine like Darude, sort of like techno club kid one. I'd like to see that, right? A little bit of early house. I know, early house music. That would be cool.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
They'd have to. Who would you get for the music guests? It'd have to be
Frankie Knuckles.
Oh yeah, old DJs
Yeah.
that don't have a career anymore.
Yeah.
They can't barely run the turntables.
They have their walker up. They had pull their walkers up to the turntable.
Well, the only news I have on actual remakes or sequels is that they are working on a Broadway adaptation of this. And Aykroyd is kicking around ideas. One of them is a long-lost third brother. And the other idea he's kicking around is a female version of this movie. Would you guys tune in for a female version of this movie?
No.
Yeah,
These all
but
sound
only because I'm
desperately
gay.
bad.
You just want to see some hot girl on girl action, Nicole. No, it's. I think doing an all-female version, like, okay, the question is why, right?
Money.
Because gay.
Yeah, but no, but it's sort of like it's like let's try to show that we can do an all-female version for the sake of it, as opposed to just doing a cool movie with 2 lead chicks that isn't a remake, right? Like,
You're right. I'd rather that.
Right?
I'm just trying to be
Yeah.
funny.
yeah.
Maybe they could resurrect some careers like Drew Barrymore.
Well, I agree with you, Bob. This you can't recapture the magic. This is just a unique gem of the time. Okay, so we are at the end of the podcast now, and I want to ask all of you: is this too old or pure gold?
It hurts me to say too old because after hearing all these things, I look at it in a different light. But I'm gonna say too old for me.
I still stand in my too old court.
I think if you saw it at the time, it's pure gold. But just as a movie now, without the cultural background or the time and place, it's too old.
Pure gold here.
Yeah, I'm definitely going pure gold on this. This is literally one of my favorite movies.
This movie is pure gold. This movie is like the definition to me of pure gold, because so much of music in this day and age feels fleeting, feels like it doesn't have that sort of reverence to me. I wonder about like if there are kids now, like teenagers now, who feel the sort of reverence for their music the same way that people did then. And it's interesting to me how, when you look back on time, funnels to this kind of more central point where there's more points of connection, more from the roots that we all come from, where you see these like things that stand out as like standing the test of time. To me, this movie is like the definition of pure gold.
I think there is something just in terms of the reverence of music. I mean, like, I don't diss anyone for liking the music they like, right? So if it makes if it makes it happy, it's great. Like, some people probably revere Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift.
Tyler Swift,
sorry.
my favorite.
Sorry, but I'm thinking. I think back in the day where I think part of. So I was one of the kids when I became an early teenager. I would like wait to record Brave New Waves on CBC radio, right?
Yeah.
And I would learn the music out of, a lot of it was out of Europe. Then I'd save up money, spend $10, go down to a store and buy the album. So you committed to it, right? So when you committed to it and you turned it over in your hand and you looked at it, you read the liner notes, and I think that's where it came from in a way. So it was a commitment. It wasn't a just like forward that skipped the next song. And I don't know. But I hear what Clef. I hear what you're saying, and I'm wondering how the kids get there now. Right? I don't know.
I feel the same reverence for my music now. So that's not a generational thing. That's just.
But
I
I also agree
care
that
for
like.
music in that way.
But okay, fair enough. But I also agree that like I find this movie long. I find this movie dated. I find the jokes to be like a little like, okay, I feel like I've seen that somewhere before, but that's like the reference material. But yeah, I still think it's gold, and that's where I stand for that.
Well, can we agree that the soundtrack is pure gold?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's not.
I have
even a
played
question.
this soundtrack so many times.
Best part.
For sure. Bob, this was so much fun having you on this. I hope you had a good time. I hope
I did.
will
What are
come-
we doing next week?
Okay, that was my next
I'm
question. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, if you're picking another movie, what are you picking?
With this group, definitely I would love to do the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai in the 25th century.
Oh, that's on Matthew's list.
We're
Really?
helping there. That's a good one.
Let's do
That
that.
movie is
heard of it.
right in the zone of what
That's
we
a
do
movie
here.
that either you immediately go, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen, or this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
It's the
And I
funniest
think
thing.
it would fall right down the middle.
See if the lines.
I like
draw
the way you
differently.
think, Bob.
I can't wait to find out.
Nice one.
With this group, we're definitely going to get a few of each. Okay, so Bob, we really, really, really appreciate having you on this. It was totally fun. I can't wait to have you back on for Buckaroo Banzai.
Great.
Before we let you go, I want to ask you, do you have anything to plug? Are you working on a new book?
Yes, I am working on 2 new books, one of which I can tell you about, which is I'm writing with Catherine McClellan, who's a Juno Award-winning folk musician in Canada, and we are writing the biography of her father, Gene McClellan, who's the author of Snowbird for Anne Murray and Put Your Hand in the Hand, a gospel classic.
Wow.
So, and a
Did he write? Did he write "Put Your Hand in the Hand"?
Yeah.
I used to sing that at Christian summer camp.
Yeah. There couldn't be a bigger hero in PEI than Gene McClellan, and he has a tremendous story. So we're the first draft is done, and September 15th we have another meeting to start polishing. So
That's great.
Oh, that's
that
pretty
should be the
exciting.
next.
Good. Well, I hope people will look for it when it comes out. This was great. Thanks to everybody on this podcast. Any last words from you, Z's and millennials? And
It was really fun hearing all of your opinions and your knowledge on music, because I didn't know lots about the music going in, so that was really cool.
Agreed.
Thanks for your insight.
Cheers. Great conversation.
Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.
Orange what? Orange what?
what I truly love about this podcast is that legitimately I can come in with an opinion on a movie and I can leave this podcast with a slightly different opinion.
Definitely.
Yep. I feel that way for sure.
I feel like I get these movies more every time.
For sure. Thanks, gang.
Thank you.
I'm going to call it there.
See you
It
guys.
was a privilege.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you guys, everyone. That's
Too.
great.
Bye-bye.